when they exist in the head of a deplorable cis-het white male like yours truly.
Wouldn't it be great if we could just dive into this pool of colorful balls like this broad is about to do and just forget about all the troubles of the world, forget about all that shit, forget about, you know, the refugee crisis, the political alienation in America, the binary gender pronouns, Ben Shapiro lecturing us about transgenders. Just like fucking let it all go and just forget about it and be carefree. But motherfucker, no, we gotta live in the world. We gotta dive out of the pool of colorful balls and dive into the brutal reality that we inhabit. And today we're gonna talk about the YouTube phenomenon. You know the name, it's Peterson Pie! That's right, you know I'm not gonna let that one go. Anyway, it's Jordan Peterson. We're gonna talk about Peterson, but today the video is gonna get a little bit meta. So, you see, it's like a Russian nestling doll, or as we say it in Russian, matryoshka. I mean, try to, you know, pronounce that shit. You don't have to unless you have a mail order bride, and even she probably cares more about your credit score than your pronunciation of Russian words. But anyway, so the smallest doll, but actually in a way the biggest doll, is going to be Jordan Peterson, because there is a article about him saying that he's the stupid person, stupid man, smart person. That's the scandalous claim, and it's proposed by social justice lady Tabitha Soothy. And then there's going to be a kind of anti-social justice square, just like a guy who looks like he's like a SAT coach called Matt Christensen, who's gonna shit on her for her shitting on Jordan Peterson. And then there's gonna be an asshole, which is me, who's gonna just fucking shit on all of them. So without further ado, let's get to it.
All my favorite people are getting amazing hit pieces written about them lately, notably by this character Jared Holtz over at something called Right Wing Watch, who originally wrote this piece on how white supremacy has figured out how to become YouTube famous, lumping in the likes of Roaming Millennial, Styx, and Sargon for enabling the hate. The silliness of assigning a white supremacist label to people whose only crime is not disavowing enough.
Oh no, bro. Oh no. Not disavowing enough is not their biggest crime. The biggest crime is that fucking outfit on that autistic Liberace.
I love this premise that these people just figured out how to become YouTube famous, like it's some kind of 90s PlayStation cheat code. The only thing these YouTubers figured out is how to make compelling arguments people like to listen to, earning large audiences over time.
Except that it's exactly like the 90s PlayStation cheat code. You fucking driving school's instructor, you fucking liar. You of all people should know that better than anybody else. I've checked out your fucking channel, and like a few years ago, like 5 years ago, it was a gaming channel. You would play fucking Call of Duty, and you provided relatively nuanced commentary on politics, religion, etc.
So my opinion on guns, I own them, I like them. In the United States of America, I believe you have a constitutional right to possess them. But no constitutional right is absolute, and all are subject to certain common sense restriction, and I don't see the right to bear arms as any different. I believe in common sense gun regulation, like crazy wackos should have a hard time getting them, or maybe, just maybe, not be allowed to get them at all. But to me, that's not interesting. In any contentious debate, I find the argument to be the point of interest. Above all, I'm loyal to reason, not ideology. With regard to guns specifically, there are a lot of cliche but downright awful arguments that get repeated without end.
But that shit wasn't getting any views, and so you fucking cracked the code. You found the fucking cheat code, and you went with it, with the regular anti-social justice warrior shit. I mean, it's not that fucking difficult. I made one fucking video about Matt Damon being criticized by feminists. I aggressively attacked the feminists, and now that video has over 1,000 views, which is a lot for a channel that's only been started like 2-3 months ago. And then for some reason you decided to aggregate the retardation by putting the roaming millennial in the same sentence with compelling arguments. Dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, the roaming millennial is like a autistic YouTube 8 and a show business 5, and in the sausage fest that we inhabit here in our guttural dimension of this horrible website, she's fucking Megan Fox. She's a fucking superstar. And so as the roaming millennial continues with her compelling arguments, something else is roaming around the crotch area of her viewers. It's just a fucking foreplay fulfilling both the kind of desire for more confirmation bias analysis and the visual stimulation of a lady. And it's just fucking foreplay before they switch to Pornhub.
Formidable as it may be, Jared's work is actually not my favorite hit piece of late, however. That honor belongs to an author whose work found its way to my Twitter mentions this week. Tabitha Southey at Maclean's in Canada, who published this piece provocatively titled, "Is Jordan Peterson the stupid man's smart person?" Well, I'm not sure what a smart person is, but presumably Tabitha is one, so let's read on to find out.
I wouldn't exactly agree that Jordan Peterson is the stupid man's smart person. I think Jordan Peterson is legitimately smart, and I myself am very highly intelligent. So if I consider him smart, and I'm not a stupid person, the whole equation of this piece falls apart. But fucking anyway, while Jordan Peterson is not the stupid man's smart person, he definitely is the stupid man's fucking genius. Jordan Peterson acts the sort of a trite role of a tortured genius. He kind of carries himself on with theatrics, and yet he basically, in very sophisticated ways, just fulfills the pre-existing beliefs of the people he's preaching to. He's preaching to the choir, but he's preaching in a way that the choir finds more intelligent than they could ever articulate because they're too stupid to do so. So for example, a lot of people feel a sort of a connection to Christianity, but they don't go to church, and they don't literally believe in the doctrines of Christianity. They don't believe in the burning bush and the talking snake and Noah's Ark. And here comes fucking Peterson, who gives you a perfect solution to that shit, which is his vague bullshit archetypal Christianity. And people look at him and say, man, this motherfucker's a genius. I mean, this is one example of many, but fuck it. I mean, there will be other opportunities to talk about Peterson pie.
University of Toronto psychology professor Jordan Peterson was in the news this week, and one imagines this makes the university sad. Peterson first made news and became a belle of the alt-right when in September 2016 he announced that he would not use a student's preferred pronoun if he were asked to, except that he might if he felt the request was genuine, and no one had asked him that anyway. So he became a belle of the alt-right by taking a stance against compelled speech. If Congress passes a tax cut and some neo-Nazis happen to like it, does that make Congress the belle of the skinheads?
I want to make one thing abundantly clear, and that is the fact that I completely disagree with calling Jordan Peterson the belle of the alt-right. That's completely and utterly unacceptable to me, because whatever you may say about Hitler, and people have said a lot of negative stuff about him, the one thing about Hitler is that he believed in something. You can't take away that. He had clear, very linear beliefs. And by contrast, let's hear Jordan Peterson express himself about a fucking simple question of whether he believes in God.
So people often ask me, do you believe in God? Which I don't like that question. First of all, it's an attempt to box me in a sense. And the reason that it's an attempt to box me in is because the question is asked so that I can be firmly placed on one side of a binary argument. And the reason I don't like to answer it is because A, I don't like to be boxed in, and B, because I don't know what the person means by believe or God. And they think they know. And the probability that they construe belief and construe God the same way I do is virtually zero. So it's a question that doesn't work for me on multiple levels of analysis. But strangely enough, just as we were talking, the answer to that question popped into my head. I act as if God exists.
You've asked me just now if I hate the Jews? And I don't like that question. It puts me in a binary box. It's a very binary question. It's almost like you want to box me in. You want to put me in triple parentheses. Because you really have to ask yourself, what do you mean by hate? And what do you mean by Jews? You think you know the Jews, but you don't know the Jews. Are we talking about the Yemeni Jews, Ethiopian Jews, the Eastern European Ashkenazi Jews? Are we talking about the Hasids or Curb Your Enthusiasm? Because those are very different things. This is not a simple question to answer. Do I hate the Jews? Do I hate the Jews? And it fails on multiple layers of Zionist analysis. But I will tell you one thing. As I was thinking about it, I have to say that whether I hate the Jews or not, whether I believe in that or not, I have to say that if you were to ask me a question, do I live as if the Jews control the media and the banking system, I would have to say, yes, I do.
He doesn't call for a white ethno-state, but he does retweet daily Caller articles with opening lines like, yet again, an American city is being torn apart by black rioters. He has dedicated 2.5-hour-long YouTube videos to identity politics and the Marxist lie of white privilege. But fine, you conceded, he's not a Nazi, but he is something that's almost as bad. He's a capitalist, and worse yet, he's a successful capitalist. He currently has legions of fans hanging on his every YouTubed word. He's now hauling in around 50,000 US dollars a month through crowdfunding. As far as I can tell, Geordi, and not the cool Geordi from Star Trek either. Oh man, you sure got him. I bet he doesn't like being called something other than his preferred name.
Geordi is actually a pet name that Jordan Peterson's wife uses to fend him off when the professor has that wild look in his eyes that says that he wants to go straight to anal. Come on, what do you expect from me?
Geordi rewards the devotion of his Patreon patsies with regular rants against political correctness and relationship advice I can only call Angry Oprah Says. For $29.99, Petersonites can get access to the self-authoring suite, a $119.92 value. Those looking for further opportunities to give him money can pay $9.99 for 100 question phrases, which can be found along with similar question sets elsewhere on the web, so that they might learn how your personality compares to 10,000 others. Pro tip, just take a personality test from the back of an issue of Glamour. You'll only be out about $5 and you might find a free perfume sample. Pro tip, the market has decided that Jordan Peterson's philosophy is worth more, and so people pay for it voluntarily. Pro tip, both the work of Jordan Peterson and Glamour magazine earn significantly more than your drivel, so perhaps both of them should give you pro tips, not the other way around. Pro tip, the value of another person's work isn't determined by your subjective taste, Tabitha. That value is determined by what the market is willing to pay for it.
When that motherfucker says pro tip over and fucking over again, can't you see him as some sort of a fucking SAT instructor who is just angry about the fact that his favorite Japanese porn star just died in a tragic accident, but he can't express his rage, and so is just latently hidden within him and expressed only in the anal and ridiculous way in which he says pro tip.
Pro tip, pro tip, pro tip.
And you know, just like a fucking broken clock is right 2 times a day, so is this lady completely fucking right on this. I mean, she fucking nailed it. Except for Angry Oprah, she should just replace it with whiny, self-righteous Oprah, desperate to connect with some stupid ideal of masculinity while preaching to another group of doofuses who are themselves desperate to connect with some ideal of masculinity that they will never reach, but which they will pay for on fucking Patreon. And this is fucking ridiculous. I mean, I've never heard of something so fucking gay as the self-authority suite for a fucking $119 $1.92 value for fucking $29 or whatever the fuck. I mean, where does Peterson get that shit out of? $119.92, not 99 cents. I mean, would charging for the stupid suite 1 cent more and have it be $119.33, would that be too much? Would that kind of violate some market principle? Would a person paying a cent more, would he be overpaying for this piece of shit? It's such a fucking gimmick. Jordan Peterson does not present himself as a capitalist who's selling like fucking frozen meat of the shittiest quality for the maximum profit possible, which is what capitalists do. He presents himself as a sort of a teacher who connects to his true self, as some sort of a beacon of objectivity and truth in the world of fucking reproducing gender pronouns, etc. And here he has some fucking gay fucking tests, gay fucking glamour type tests that he's selling for $10. I mean, what the fuck is this? I mean, she's exactly on fucking point with this shit. I mean, it is like some shit out of the back of the Teen Vogue. And let me say a few words about this motherfucker, this dumb kind of pro tip piece of shit motherfucker. Here's what he doesn't understand. You know that metaphor about the marketplace of ideas? It's not meant to be literal, you stupid shit. It doesn't literally mean that because something is outselling something else and generating more value, that it's more intellectually valuable, you stupid dumb shit. I'm sure that Amy Schumer and Ann Coulter routinely outsell fucking the classics of Western literature, outsell John Locke, outsell Solzhenitsyn, but just because, a fucking kid's book, children's book written by Madonna might outsell Solzhenitsyn's Gulag Archipelago, which for the first time documented in a kind of in wide breadth the concentration camps in the Soviet Union. Just because one outsells the other doesn't mean that it's, has the same fucking impact or humanity or of the same of a higher value on the marketplace of ideas. What the fuck are you talking about, you stupid piece of shit? You know what doesn't fucking sell? Academic journals. Can you name me off the top of your head one journal, academic journal, scientific journal dedicated to the study of cancer, of oncology? I mean, you fucking can't unless you fucking guess, or something like the American Oncology Journal. I don't know if that fucking exists, but the point is that shit doesn't fucking sell, you stupid piece of shit, but it's way more valuable than fucking glamour or whatever. And the final kind of thing I want to say is that, you stupid cunt, she wasn't giving pro tip to fucking glamour or Jordan Peterson. And it's like, she was just giving a pro tip to the dumb motherfuckers who pay for these fucking gimmicks. And what else? I had fucking something else. And the final retarded thing that you said is when you said that her subjective judgment doesn't count. Who the fuck makes the market, you dumb cunt? It's individual consumers making their own decisions. It's sort of like if I read in the fucking paper that McDonald's is, the most popular restaurant chain, I have to dine there every fucking day. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? It's individual consumer choices that create the market. And there's a kind of a cult around Peterson that fucking pumps money into his bank account. That doesn't mean that you should respect his ideas. I mean, I do see how many of her objections to him are retarded by basically trying to paint a swastika on his head. I mean, he does like to give interviews to Stefan Molyneux and other scumbags, but it's just because he's an attention whore, not because he shares their beliefs. So anyway, everybody's fucking retarded. Everything is fucking stupid. I'm fucking tired of all of it. Subscribe to the channel. I'm fucking diving into the fucking pool here with the fucking colored balls. That's what I need right now, is fucking colored balls. you know, who fucking the invisible fucking hand of the market fucking created these balls.